Hey guys, it's Maurice here with Chef's Temper. I'm back on my anvil, back on my forge. It's fired up right back here. Can't see it because it's outdoors, but I'm about to shape out a little bit of the blade that I've been working on. I just finished up the tang. It's nice and curved. You'll be able to see that one. The curve on that is just for aesthetics and for the finishing for the handle. I've got a really cool idea in mind. Hopefully it works out. Right now, I got to get that blade out of the fire and I'm going to start hammering on it. Since I've been on here, but you can see the color in that. I can't. It's too dark in here or too light in here for me to actually see that red color that the camera's picking up right now. My eye can't pick that up as I get into the shadow here a little bit, but I don't want to work on this too much when it's this color because the metal easily cracks at that point. I do, however, in these last little moments of the heat, want to make sure everything is nice and straight, especially from where the tongs are holding this, because that's going to cause a pivot point. If I'm slightly high on the tip on the anvil or slightly high on the handle, I want to make sure that as I'm going, I'm as straight as I can be. And right now, can't really tell. It's going to be really hard for the camera to pick this up, but along the spine, I'm trying to make sure that everything is the same thickness. I want to clean that up. As you can see, got this beautiful end on my tang. I'm going to put in a wooden piece right along that. It's going to be the same thickness as the metal on that tang, and it's going to be just a part between the two sides of the wood that's going to be on the outside handle. The top of the tang, that's going to be exposed. Back into the fire with this. So you might think you need a lot of money. You need a lot to be able to get started on blacksmithing. I went to Princess Auto, picked up an anvil here for, I don't know, 65 bucks or something like that. I bought a torch and a acetylene regulator. I'm using a propane tank. The regulator allows you to change how much gas is going in. You can change on the torch how much air is getting mixed into it. So you have a cleaner burn, a hotter burn, depending on what you're trying to do. Right now, I'm not trying to melt my metal. I'm not trying to get it hot enough for welding temperatures. I'm just trying to get it hot enough that I can move it around. I don't want to leave any blemishes in it right now because I'm almost done this knife, and I just want to, I mostly just want to clean it up right now. So, taking another heat, and I'm just smoothing out all my glancing blows that I've done before. And straighten out the spine and the blade. Now, I've got a taper already made, my bevels along the blade, so when I'm doing this, I need to make sure that I'm hitting this on that angle so I'm not messing up the bevels I've already created. And then again, I'm going to square everything up and just clean it up right along these lines. Now I can use the edge of the faceplate here so that my glancing blow is across this. Keep the bevels nice and straight. Or as you get better with this, you can kind of just place your hammer strikes. It's always important to make sure that you even everything out. Take a look where you have high spots and low spots. Just go back through and correct them. It's really not that, it's not an overly complicated hobby. The way to really practice this, if you don't have metal or don't have all the tools, but you'd really like to do it, get some Play-Doh. Simply get some Play-Doh and hammer the Play-Doh out and see how it reacts. Change your strike face instead of being flat. to being on an angle, and see what happens as you do that, and then what happens when you go back flat on it. See which way the Play-Doh actually works as you're hammering it. There's a lot of interesting things you can do just by practicing, like some like working on Play-Doh. You can really learn how the hammer moves this. When the metal's nice and hot, it's almost the same as hammering on Play-Doh. Maybe not quite, but yeah, hammering on a hot piece of metal and hammering that nice and flat, that's all I'm working on right now. So I've got 2 hammers. I've got this nice little, I think it's 5 pounds or 3.5 pounds or something like that. Nothing crazy. 3 kilo hammer. And then I've got this one here, which is a 5 kilo hammer. So it's a little bit heavier, it's a little bit sturdier. It's also got this flat part on the back. This is a cross peen hammer. It's got this nice area in the back that I use to hammer some angles. So if you want to draw something out, you want to take a piece of metal that's this long and make it this long, you've got to draw it out. So if it's thick, you want to hammer into it with something like this to make divots, and then you switch it over and you hit with the flat side, and it flattens out all those peaks and valleys that you make. I don't know if my hand gestures are helping out, but here we go. Next heat. So on the back, I've got some weird shapes here, and I've got some thickness issues. Just go to hammer those and try to correct them. Now some of this obviously you can't do with Play-Doh. You can't start moving something this thin around that's made out of Play-Doh, but you get an idea of how the hammer swings will affect what you're working on. Take a look down, making sure it's nice and straight, and I still have a high point or a thick point, but I think I might just have to take that out with on the grinder, because it's above where I can fix it right now, and all I'm going to be able to do is push out more material that way, and that's ultimately going to end up getting ground down as well. So you know what, I think that might be it. I'm going to go back through, heat this up one more time. I'm going to heat it up 2 more times. I'm going to heat it up this time. I'm going to smooth out any last little bits that need to be smoothed out, and then the last heat, I'm going to bring it out, and I'm just going to give it a good little brush with the back of my hammer to get off any loose scale, any of the metal, the carbon that's being burnt on the outside, anything that's being oxidized. Get rid of that, give myself a clean patina, and then another day, I'm going to get some more vegetable oil. Yeah, so on another day, I'm going to get some vegetable oil. Here, let me try to get the light adjusted here. So on another day, I'm going to get a big tub of like 16 liters of vegetable oil and a metal container with a lid on it, and I'll be able to drop the knife just into that oil, and that's going to harden it. That hardening, when you're working with carbon or ferrous metals, you really want a hard blade. So something that's high carbon, like the metal that I'm working with. This one specifically is a high carbon stainless steel metal made from a drive shaft of a motor. So that one, I want to heat it up to about, I think something like 1500 degrees, cool it down, 1500, cool it down, 1500, cool it down. And what that's going to do is it's going to normalize the steel. And then I'm going to heat it up to around 750 degrees Celsius. And that's the point where the metal becomes no longer magnetic. At a certain temperature, any ferrous metal will lose its magnetism. So you bring it just beyond that, and then you quench it. You dunk it into an oil. You can dunk it into water, you can dunk it into salt water, transmission fluid, a bunch of different mediums give you different benefits. Something like water, you put something that's like a high carbon metal that's it's really hot into water, it can shatter. It can just break into a couple pieces, and then all the work you did is gone. Oil has a little bit slower of a harden or of a quench, so it doesn't. You're less likely to crack. The other thing that's going to happen with water is you're more likely to get a warp in your blade as it's sitting in that hot water. The different temperatures, depending on if you dunk it all right in all at once, if you move it around as you're going in, it might bend and banana on you, and then you've got to heat it back up, drop it back down, heat it up, cool it down, heat it up, cool it down, and restart that process all over again, straightening it out, clear off the scale, and go back to it. I'm on my second last heat right now. I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to try to clean up any of my hammer blows so I don't have to do a ton of work when I get to the grinder. I just want to take off just the outer patina on the blade when I get to the grinder. So I'm going to do that now. Bevel. Clean up the bevel. That's pretty damn good. Just trying to get any of that loose scale off here that I can. Do that on the bevel now. And I'm going to put this back in the fire, and I'm also going to bring that tang up a little bit. So in order to do that, I'm going to take the blade to here and hammer back here just as I rotate that around, and that'll bring the end of the tang back up. How much do I like knives? I've got one on my arm. Yeah. This has been a lot of fun. I also have a shin tattoo of a sword that I made. It was one of my third or fourth blades that I've ever made, and I made it for my mom's birthday about 5 years ago, I think now. Yeah, shit, 4 or 5 years it's been. She asked for a sword, so I made her one, and then I got it tattooed right there. I'm going to be working on making some more knives and trying to get these available on website, and yeah, where else can you get Canadian-made, handcrafted knives in these parts? All right, next one, last heat. Really not much scale left on this. Using the sharp corner on the faceplate of this, use that metal to scrape this metal, and you get rid of the forge scale that's on there. So I'm going to probably be back on this forge in a week. I don't think I'll be back before next Monday. And then Monday, Tuesday, I'll be back on here and hopefully getting another knife started. So that's this one for now. I'm going to do my normalizing cycle right now. I'm just going to clean this up, heat it up, cool it down. Heat it up, cool it down. I've got some other pieces here that I've been working on. This has been in the works for quite some time. Same with this one. I've got about 13 knives ready for handles, ready for hardening, ready for tempering, and hopefully in the next couple weeks those will be available for auction and for sale. For now, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Keep an eye on this channel. I've got a podcast coming out in the next few weeks, and there's definitely going to be some more videos of knife making, forging, and some other types of blacksmithing. All right, take a look. Can't wait to see what this one's going to look like when it's done. For now, guys, take it easy. And how do we end it?